In PHP, when we call a function and we pass an argument to it, or a number of arguments, in general, the value of any variables that we pass as arguments to that function remains unchanged. This is because the functions usually use call by value. Some of PHP's inbuilt functions, however, also use call by reference, and we can also use call by reference when creating our own custom functions. Let's take a look at an example and make clear what this distinction is. Let's first of all write a very simple function, and this function is so simple that there is no way we'd ever use it in a real PHP script that we're going to use for something other than showing an example such as this. And we're going to call this function multiply by 10, and it's going to take one argument, and that is the num variable. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the num by 10 and set the value of num to that using the combined multiply operator. And then we're going to return the new value of num. And that's our function. Now, if outside our script we were to define a variable of some kind, let's call it years, and we're going to set the value of years to 3, and we're going to call the multiply by 10 variable using the years variable as one of the arguments, its only argument in fact. Now, before and after this function call has been made, the value of variable years remains at 3. Let's prove that by copying this line 3 times. Actually, we're also going to put in a line break just to make this more readable. And we're going to copy that line 3 times so that this function is called 3 times. Let's take a look over at our web browser, and as we can see, 30, 30, and 30. So 30 times 3 is 10, so every time this function is called, years has remained at the value of 3. Now the reason for this is that in this function call, this variable here, years, has been passed to the function by value. So the value 3 is passed to this function, multiplied by 10, and returned, rather than the variable itself. So no change has been made to the value of the variable. However, it's very possible to make a very simple change in the syntax of our function and make it act in a very different way. If we simply put an ampersand like that, or and sign as it's more commonly known, before the name of any argument in our function definition, then let's take a look at the browser and we'll see what result that small change has had on the way our function works. As we can see, the value of the variable has been changed each time. Each time it's been multiplied by 10. So as we can see, by using call by reference, we can allow our function to act directly upon the variables that we pass to them as arguments.